Hello. Second video answers the second question which I'm often asked is, should I replace my amalgam fillings? There's no clear answer, it depends who you ask. Firstly, let's go back to historically why amalgams were used. Amalgam is a cheap, cost-effective, very forgiving, not very technique sensitive, virtually foolproof material. You can pack it in, it'll last for a very, very long time. In fact, if you ask me, you can teach a monkey how to do one and it will last. If done well, have a good amalgam, I've seen ones last 30 years plus before it expands too much and eventually a cusp, a corner of the tooth eventually breaks off. So historically, cheap, effective, very good chairside material. So going back to the initial question, should I replace them? Well, why do you want to replace them? A lot of people think about this mercury toxicity in heavy metal toxicity in amalgams. Well, the answer to that question depends who you ask. If you ask the establishment will say that there is no evidence. If you ask the alternative medicine people, they'll come up with studies of their own that will show a lot of toxicity. So it depends who you ask, and the answer, well, it's probably somewhere in the middle. If you're worried about toxicity, heavy metal, you should keep it in context, because there's no point replacing amalgams while at the same time you, for example, eat deep sea fish which have higher levels of mercury than other fish and other sources of food. So you can't do one without the other. If you're going to go metal free, you have to do it. Fillings, diet, everything else. So keep it real. The other reason is for aesthetics. Some people call it cosmetic dentistry. I like to refer to it as aesthetics. Do you want the back teeth to look nice? If you do, well then you replace the amalgams. Ultimately, it's your choice. When we replace them, what we replace them with? Okay, you can do it with a composite resin. Composite resin, well, it's a white chairside material. It's reasonably durable, but it is technique sensitive. It is very hard to do well. Very few know how to do it well, and it will not last nowhere near as long as an amalgam, even if done very well. You can replace the amalgam with an indirect filling. The indirect one is where you prep the tooth, you take a mold, you send it off to a lab constructs a lab or a machine, a chairside machine, like a ceramic. A filling gets made up. On a second appointment, we bond or glue it in, so to speak. The indirect fillings are more expensive to start off with. However, long term they are cheaper, because a good indirect filling will outlast a composite by many years. What indirect fillings do we have? We have ceramic, either, as I mentioned, the chairside ones, where you prep the tooth, scan it, a machine mills a glass block, and you glue it in. Or there's a better version of the ceramic, which is a lab-made pressable ceramic. So we prep the tooth, we take an impression, take a mold, the lab makes up a white ceramic filling. A week later we bond it in. Fits very well, lasts quite a long time. The third option is gold. You can get the lab to cast up gold, you cement it or you bond it in, and it lasts you for a very long time. It will outlast ceramics by many, many years. Basically what I say is, dentists that know, a lot of my friends, myself, my posterior teeth, the gold. There's nothing better than gold. The good thing with gold, it wears at a similar rate to enamel, so it doesn't abrade the opposing tooth. It bonds in very well. There's no porcelain on it to fracture off in 10 to 15 years time. And if the cement ever gives, you clean it up, sandblast it, you stick it back in there for another 15 years. So out of a good gold restoration, you will get many, many years of service. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, on our Facebook page, I did put up photographs of gold fillings done on an elderly lady. She was in her 20s. No, she was 19, sorry. Which means the filling was well over 60 years old, and they're still in service, in function, bulletproof. They last you, if done well, they last you for a very long time. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's up to the patient to make up their mind. There are alternatives if you do want to replace the amalgam for whatever reasons. Thank you.